Let us head off to the hotline. The guy who is currently back atop the points table in the NASCAR Nationwide Series as we get set to race this week at Lucas Oil Raceway. Driver of the Dollar General 32 car from Turner Motorsports, Reed Sorenson. How are you? Welcome to the show. Hello. Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
we got you now.
Now we can hear you. We thought maybe you'd driven through a tunnel. Yeah. Are you back home? Are you up here? Are you in Indianapolis already? What's going on?
No, I'm not in Indy yet. We don't go there till actually Friday morning.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's a full.
It's a one-day show there. We don't practice until actually Saturday morning. So
yeah,
a little bit different schedule there.
All right, Reed, you started out the night with a problem, evidently a problem that you had the day before. Did you guys get it figured out, or was it just a bad battery?
Well, I'm pretty sure that it was the battery because after we switched and put the other battery in, we were able to finish the race with the fans on and things like that. So I think the alternator had to be working in order for that to happen. So I think it was just a bad battery. And, the day before in practice, I had some issues with lower voltage than normal. And, I'm pretty sure that battery was just no good.
Yeah, and once again, I understand that you're in the car, and I understand a lot of things going on. And I heard you tell the guys, hey, guys, I told you guys yesterday, and sometimes when you get into an electrical problem or a situation, sometimes very, very hard to trace it down and find out exactly what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is for sure. And, at first I thought it was an ignition box. And, a few laps later, the engine cut off again. So I knew, I looked at the voltmeter and knew we had an issue there. But, yeah, that seems to be one of the things. It's definitely hard to find. Any type of electrical problem that you have, it seems like it's pretty difficult because there's wires going everywhere in there. But the guys did a really good job changing the battery under caution. And we actually had gotten the lucky dog. So got back on the lead lap, and then they changed the battery without us going a lap down again. So they did a real good job with that, and we recovered from it, and it ended up having an okay night. It wasn't the best night in the world, but just to recover from that and being able to change the battery on pit road is definitely not the easy thing to do.
Yeah, it's one of those things. If you can rally back after something like that, still score a top 10, still come out of there with a points lead, you got to think, wow, we dodged a major bullet at Nashville, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we weren't very good all weekend. We didn't run good there last time we were there, and didn't run too good this time either. But we pushed hard all race long, and bounced back from that. And once we saw Elliott have his issue, I think he broke an axle or something. And once we saw him have his issue, we knew to be smart and get what we could out of it, and got a top 10 and scored enough points to take the lead again. So we definitely dodged the bullet there.
Hey, Reed, and once again, we know when you're in a championship battle, you got to look at things a little bit different. You got to work really, really hard to make sure that you don't have problems. And yet again, you've got to watch those people around you. Elliott Sadler, a guy this week that was looking pretty daggone good, looking like it was going to be a top 5 finish at least, and all of a sudden he's out of there. Now, nobody goes to the racetrack and wants to see a competitor have problems, but yet you keep an eye on those guys, don't you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's, as the race is going on, like I said, when we saw that he had an issue, we just tried to be smart the rest of the race and not put ourselves in a situation where we might, be in the same boat that he was in. So we definitely tried to take advantage of what we could there. And, just like I said, we didn't have that fast of a car, so we made the most of it and still got a top 10. And we're pretty happy with the way it turned out after that night.
Yeah, you got to be. No question about that. Now, this week at Indy, Lucas Oil Raceway, may be the last time there. Joe Ballas just told us he hopes not, and some conversations may well be going on that bring the series back there at some point in the future. But one of the cool things I've always thought about Lucas Oil Raceway, like a lot of golf courses, they all have 18 holes, but they're all very different. This is as different a short track as you probably run because of the groove isn't where a lot of people would think it would be when they take a first look at that place, right?
Yeah, it's a very unique track, and, in the past, you see people that win the race that run up in the top groove, and you see people that can win the race running kind of across the apron on the bottom. So it's definitely a cool track. Very tough to race on side by side. It's just not much room there, and taking the new DOT car there will be interesting to see if they're any different than the old car. Because they are a little bit bigger, and I'm sure things will be a little bit tighter out there. So it should be a good race, and a lot of beating and banging is normal.
Hey, Reed, when you get yourself psyched up for this, because you just mentioned it, going to be a lot of beating and banging. You know that going in. You got to control your emotions when you get to a place like that. Do you start getting ready for that before you even get there?
Yeah, for sure. It's, that track it seems like no matter what you do, you can, I've had really good cars there and finished well there in the past, and it seems like there's still some fenders knocked in on your car after the race, no matter what you do. So you got to be prepared for that. And, a lot of the times when you are out there, it does get so tight that a lot of things happen, and it's really nobody's fault. It's just that there's not much room out there. So it's a short race too, only 200 laps. That goes by really, really fast there. So, qualifying will be important to try to start up front, and usually you stay out of the trouble if you're closer to the front.
Yeah, you could probably. I think we saw some truck races there last couple of years where guys tried to make it without stopping. You'd probably just have a one-stop strategy, I would imagine there, right?
Yeah, you definitely don't want to stop more than you have to.
Whoops. Uh-oh. The dime must have run out there. You still there? Hello?
I don't think he's still there.
I think that was
gone.
it. I think the time on his prepaid card may have run out. I'm just teasing. 1-866-748-5263. We'll try to reconnect with Reed Sorenson, where his cell signal did not seem to be at peak performance, shall we say, at 12 minutes after the hour. Let's go ahead and let's talk a little bit about some of the things Reed was talking about. I was just, kind of getting him ready to have a little bit of a conversation, Chalk, about the strategy you use at a place like that, where you may only get one chance to adjust that race car in the course of the night.
Yeah, and you may not get a chance at all. Once again, this thing's going to happen pretty daggone quick. Track position. You come down pit road and the other guys don't. You're in serious trouble. Yeah. So this is a place with the things that we've seen. And by the way, congratulations to Goodyear they're bringing tires to the racetrack that are absolutely unbelievable, making us change the way that we've raced for a long time.
Oh, yeah, no question. So let's bring Reed back on with us. Reed Sorenson, points leader, NASCAR Nationwide Series, drives for Turner Motorsports. He'll be in the show Saturday night here on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio from Lucas Oil Raceway on the west side of Indianapolis. We were just getting ready to ask you about the necessity there to really have a good race car from the very beginning. You may only get one chance to adjust that car in the course of the run, right?
Yeah, it's you're always fighting forward bite, and it never wants to turn in the center there. So you probably only get one shot to try to fix it. And the interesting thing is that our practices are actually in the day when the sun's out, and the track changes a lot there when it gets dark. So a lot of the stuff you do in practice, you're almost guessing what the track's going to do that night, and just off of what we know in the past, that's kind of how we gauge what we do to our car during practice.
All right, Reed, once again, we don't know for a fact, but this could be the last time you're up there. Hopefully not, but maybe it is. That trophy is kind of like a couple of weeks ago, somebody trying to get the first win at Kentucky. The first or the last, these are kind of two special things. Maybe you do a little bit different. Maybe you do a little bit extra to try to get that thing right.
Yeah, hopefully it's, like you said, hopefully it's not the last time we're there, because I know the fans really do enjoy us racing there, and I think every time I've been there, it's pretty much sold out. And, the fans do enjoy seeing racing that, we did growing up, and that's what we all did to get to this level. So hopefully we go back at some point. I'm sure they're working on it as hard as they can, and if it is the last time there, it'd definitely be a very neat trophy to have, and hopefully we got a good enough car and we can do it.
Absolutely true. All right, before we let you go, the character of Nationwide Series racing starting to change, I think, quite a bit. We talked about this with Joe Balish. You've talked to us about this sort of thing over the last couple of months that you've been a regular on our show. Only 4 drivers doing double duty this week, running your race Saturday night, running Sunday in the Brickyard. Kyle Busch, second week in a row, saying, no, I'm not going to run the truck, not going to run the Nationwide car. This is starting to boil down to a Nationwide guys-only kind of show, which I think is great. Do you run differently? Does it change the way you think about things if you know you've only got Brad Keselowski, Carl Edwards, and I think Joe Nemechek, the only other guy, Trevor Bayne, the only guys that you'll be really up against will be, you've raced at the Cup level, so that doesn't mean that you're not capable of being there too, but it changes the game for you a little bit, I would think, right?
Yeah, it changes a little bit, and, definitely gives, the nationwide-only teams a little bit better shot of winning the race. And, I think those guys are realizing that, their big deal is the Sprint Cup car. So for them to be able to concentrate 100% on that and not have to worry about the nationwide race, as they get closer to the chase, I can understand why those guys aren't doing double duty as much.
Yeah, we've talked about it in the context of Kyle Busch's plans now, and without having Kyle make a public comment on it, seems to us at least that you could make the assumption, I think, that they're saying, hey, look, we're trying to win a championship here for the first time with this race team. Let's focus on that and not focus on a championship you can't win over here, or a race that's part of a championship you can't win. So, and I think that, it's taken half a year maybe, but the rule change has had the desired effect. It's leaving this for you and the guys you race against week in and week out. You're doing a fantastic job leading the championship there. Want to wish you all the best at Lucas Oil Raceway on Saturday night.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show, and hopefully we'll be talking maybe about a trophy on Tuesday.
That'd be fantastic. That'd be well-earned, certainly, and we wish you well on Saturday night. Thanks for making time for us, man. Be safe out there.
All right, thanks for having me.
Always good to have Reed Sorenson with us, current championship leader, NASCAR Nationwide Series, drives the Turner Motorsports Dollar General Chevrolet.